I was always a rebel because I used to sneak out.
A lot of us girls used to go up there to the park to play volleyball. We had gym up there, the recreation hall. We had gym.
And being that we were always in church, I would say, well, we're going to the rosary or to choir practice or this.
That's where we met all these fellows.
All the fellows would come over here, and we would just have a delight. We would just volley and just show off, just acting smart, all of us.
See, that's why I met this man up there laying in the grass, and I didn't know he was.
I was very popular, but he just ignored me. Nobody had ever ignored me.
But I fell in love. I told the fellows, I said, what's that fellow's name?
Who's that guy? And I didn't know he was short.
They said his name is Pancho. So
I went up there and I sat beside him. And I said,
hi, Pancho. And he's laying down. And I said, hi. And he says, turn around, he says, my name is not Pancho.
And I wanted to be his friend, and he didn't.
I said, well, the fellows told me your name was Pancho.
And he just ignored me.
He turned around, he told me off.
Would you please just leave me alone?
He said, why don't you go away and leave me alone?
And I felt so embarrassed.
And he told me, he says, go leave me alone. He says, go down there and play with your friends.
I didn't know what to do.
Then he looked at me and said, you with your paint, because he was a Presbyterian, they didn't wear no makeup, they wore real good girls, long hair. He said, you with your painted face, he says.
Big as I am, I felt like this.
And me with my eyebrows showing off. Oh, my lipstick all Joan Crawford way, Oh, he told me off good. And I didn't know, I wanted to go pee-pee. I didn't know where to go. I wanted to go home. I didn't know what to do. So finally, he got the towel and covered his face and turned around. And finally, I got up.
And I snuck away. And I came, and the girl says, what did he say? What did he say? I said, I want to go home. I want to go home.
But I still liked him. I liked him an awful lot. No matter, I didn't care about the other tall. I didn't even know he was short. So Saturday, I was going downtown. My sister was going to be a bridesmaid
to a girl up here named Rita. And I was walking down. She was getting married. At that time, they used to marry them on Sunday. And I was walking down on a Saturday afternoon.
I had a dress and I had a hat. I was dressed. And I was walking down Solano. And all of a sudden, I see this car come in the driveway.
I didn't know that he had a car.
Oh, my God, it was him. And I didn't know what to do, and whether to keep walking or. And then he opened the door. He says, where are you going?
And I saw him, and oh, my God, my legs went this way. And I looked at him, and I couldn't believe it. And I said, I'm going down to Broadway. I said, I'm going to buy a dress.
Hop in. Before he said hop in, I was in.
I remember I had a wine-colored dress and wine-colored lipstick, and we were going, and then he says, you really look nice. And I said, oh, do you think so? And, I was all agag. And he says, yes. He says, I like your lipstick, because it matched this. And I said, do you want some? And he says, yes. So in that North Broadway tunnel, I got a hold of him.
I'm going to kiss you. And the car was going like this.
And the streetcar was going in the back of it, and it was gang, 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 gang.
And he was going like, he couldn't breathe.
And he had to go down to Temple, the Bank of America, and I got off here.
And there was a drugstore in the corner, and they had mirrors like that. And my lips were all over the place. My lips were all over. So I went in there, and I sort of.
And I crossed the street, got the streetcar, came back home. My father saw me. He says, what's this girl doing home so soon? Where's your dress? I didn't want to talk, and I went home and I fell asleep. I just dreamt about
that kiss. And then he thought that was the end of that.
And that was the beginning. But see, I didn't know that he was Presbyterian, and we were Catholic. And that was horrible to marry at that time. My folks couldn't believe it, because there were a lot of good Catholic boys around. They couldn't believe it. And the more they said no, 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 the more I said yes, yes, yes.
I couldn't forget the fellow, Morro in the car. And during the week, I knew where he worked. He worked on the railroad. And I got all dressed up. Wore the same dress. We used to wear hats all the time at that time. And I went. My mother said, "Hello." I said, "Well," because I had bought some shoes and they were too tight. Because I have a big foot. I wear size 10, and I said they're too tight, and I always had trouble with my feet. So anyway, I said I'm going to go exchange them, which I wasn't, but I took the shoes just in case. And I went down to the depot, where he worked at the freight, and he come out. He was not filthy, but he was sort of, and he says, "What happened?" And I said, "Oh, I had to come see you because this other fellow, I had the other fellow already. I had a reserve because if he didn't want me, the other fellow did." So I said, "I had to come see you." I said, "Because I've been thinking of you, for a lot." And he says, "Look," he says, "there's nothing we could do." He says, "You, my folks won't allow me to go with you. They were real strict." And he says, "And I know your folks don't allow you to go with me," because he had got to see to my folks already. And my folks were very adamant. No, 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 ¿qué es eso? At that time, it was very, very strict, no. So, then we broke up. That was it. But then I went to look for him, and I said, "No," I said, I can't live with." He said, "We've gone through all of this." He says, "I don't want to go through this no more." I said, I know it, but I don't care." I said, "I'll give up my religion for." "Oh, no," he said, "I wouldn't want that." Because, we were real religious, like, "I'll do anything for you." So he says, "Let's go back there." So we went in the car and we started talking. And he says, "There's no way." I said, "Yes, yes, yes." I said, we have to get married." I said, we have to. I want you." I just threw a tantrum in there. Yes, yes, you loved me one time, you got to love me again. You have to. I was scared all over the place. My hair. Oh my God. And he looked at me, got scared. He says, "No," he says, "we've gone through." He says, "Your folks still want me, my folks still will like you. I don't care whatever you say." Finally, he calmed me down. And he says, "You better get out." He says, "You have to get out." I said, "I can't walk out I can't go home like this. I was a mess." He said, "Yes, you have." My hair, my hat was all, oh. No, he says, I can't cope with you." He says, "You're too much." Finally, he took me home. And then when I got off, I said, I'm not through with you yet." And he said, "I'm through with you." And I slammed the door. And I went up and I was crying. But I stopped at there was a house in the middle of something there to clean so I didn't want my folks to see me. But they were eating dinner. My father used to get out at 3 something in the afternoon. They were in the kitchen. I said, yeah, let them know that I was home. And I went and I cleaned myself all up. But I had a heck of a time to get him. Finally. Finally. One of his other friends used to like me too, but I didn't like his other friend. I wanted him. Finally.
The 19th of November, we eloped.
I was crazy. I just fell in love with him.
So we set up housekeeping. 3 years later, we had one daughter, and 3 years later, we had another.
Big headlines, Pearl Harbor bombed. No wonder, my God, we got in the car and we went home and it was awful. It was terrible. That's all we could do was sit by the radio and listen to it. Cookie was born the 1st of October and Pearl Harbor was the 7th of December or something like that, yeah. So finally he got his notice. Oh my God, I cried and I prayed and I cried and Venus. That was it. That was it. And then he went. I remember he went to whatever he wanted to do, and he came back with a duffel bag. And I said, "What's that for?" So that's when, you know, you gotta go. And oh, it was terrible. So that night we sat up talking and talking and talking. And that morning he left. It was terrible. Terrible. I was 22. He was 20, 23 or 24. They took all the young ones. It was terrible. And I didn't know nothing, nothing, nothing. He used to write to me every day. He used to write to me every day. The letters were heartbreaking, heartbreaking. How he missed his children, how he missed me, how he missed my laughter. And he could see me, and I send him pictures all the time. You know, I send him pictures of laugh, 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 and how he used to dream of me, and how he could feel me, and oh my goodness, they were heartbreaking. And my letters to him were the same way. You know. And when I found out that he was coming home, I went crazy. Oh my goodness, I didn't know what to do. And then he'd say, I'm going to be at the station, at the Union Station. I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand it. And my mother would say, cálmate, cálmate. Con mucho cuidado, mira, you know, the heart. The porter, he was a black porter. I'll never, oh, he was so nice to me. And then finally, I saw, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to run, and I couldn't walk. And then he saw me, and he just went like that. He went like that. And I went like this, and then he looked down. And then when he was looking down, I could see, you know, he got a little bit emotional. And then I ran over there, and I came up to him. I got a hold of him. He says, hey, cut it out. I went, oh, that was so funny. We laughed about it after. Cut it out, he said. And he had all, part of his duffel, part of his junk with him too. But I didn't feel nothing. I was like a newborn baby. I just lifted him up. Oh my God. I laughed about it. She wasn't the laughable time. And I said, remember when I picked you up? He said, no. And I said, remember? No. He didn't remember. I said, remember when I picked you up? Nope. Oh my goodness. That was so funny. He was more serious. He was more serious than serious. And I was crazier than crazy. I was crazier that he was home to me. And I was crazier that my girls had their daddy. And I was just always laughing and dancing and singing. I was always singing, and I used to sing in Spanish, you know. And I used to sing La Paloma. He used to like it. I used to sing, and I used to cry, you know, when I used to sing it. And he used to just sit there. Not he would living up an Amador, and he'd just be eating, you know, just ignoring me. And I said, y cuando salí de La Habana, and I was crying and crying and crying. He would just ignore me. See, he loved me in his own quiet, uh, inside way, you know. But I loved him. You know, I loved him. You know. Wherever he was, you know, I'd hug him, kiss him, and he didn't. He just ignored me. but I made him notice me. I tell you now, about 5 years ago, he said, I don't know why I married you. He told me. Because you love me, you fell in love with me, violently in love with me. That's why you fell in love.
And he still makes my heart go pitter pat.